I continuously get feedback from my listeners and my viewers, and one of the things they'll stop and ask me is, Craig, how much education is enough? I mean, how far do we have to go? How many classes do we have to take? How many topics do we have to take before we're worthy to get into our job or career field? It might feel like the world's against you, and if you feel this way, you're not wrong. It can be that way. It can feel that way until you know how to unlock your job and career growth opportunities. Today's show, we're talking about how much education is enough to get ahead on Career Growth Made Easy. Up next. I was an engineer and in 2008 lost my job due to the economic collapse. Jobs were scarce. I didn't know where to turn to get help updating my resume. Online services and coaches charge hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I took matters into my own hands and learned how to craft interview-winning resumes. Shortly later, I landed a job with a Fortune 500 company. I've helped many achieve similar success. Now I share my tips to create interview-winning resumes, interviewing excellence, and high-performance growth strategies on my podcast, Career Growth Made Easy. Welcome back to Career Growth Made Easy. I'm your host, Career Coach Craig Ansell. It's great that you're with us as we're approaching the end of the year. We can look back at our accomplishments as well as our challenges, and maybe part of that is realizing there's some level of frustration in our hearts, minds, and bodies. And that's why I put today's show together. Maybe it's going to connect and resound with you. How much education is enough? Can you hear my emotions behind that? You know, I've had a number of listeners send notes in. I've had people stop me on the streets, whether they're viewers or listeners, and say, Craig, what does it take to get ahead? I feel like I'm a cog in a wheel, a gear just in motion, and how much education is enough? How much? Well, the answer is simply it depends. Years ago, the only way to be perceived and believe that you have value in this world was to have a 4-year degree at a minimum, hands down. That means you are going through all your middle school, high school, and yes, junior and senior college level classes to get that degree. It wasn't enough just to attend. Otherwise, you could have been seen, and these are not my words, you could have been seen as a failure, as someone that just tried to achieve and didn't. Right? Someone that tried to get to their 4-year degree but didn't. A college dropout or in progress in college for the rest of your life. That is not the way it is today, and nor should you feel that way if you were in that latter cycle. You've got some education, schooling, regardless of how far you went in life, and you didn't complete. Number one, if that career path is good for you, that educational path is good for you, you still have time. It doesn't have to happen immediately to go back and finish up that education. If it would make you feel good, just as a personal triumph, you can do that. It's always great to put new accomplishments, new achievements on your resume. Even if it's something you've been struggling with, you can talk about that during interviews. Yes, I'm talking about you. How would you get an interview? How would I get an interview, Coach Craig? Well, part of that is with your confidence. Your confidence, your ability to believe in yourself, okay? Education is one thing, but belief, confidence, a little bit of pride injected in doesn't hurt things, knowing that you've got something to offer our world today. Going back to the core message, how much education is enough, or the core question, it depends. It really does. But I want to do on this show, I want to do a couple things for you before you get ready to unsubscribe or flip the channel, right? I promise you there's key value here. Yes, you can go into traditional schooling, high school, 2-year degree in college, then a 4-year degree for your senior college. And if necessary, if there's a reason for it, go into post-grad, right? Post-grad classes. You're going to focus on a particular topic. You're interested in a certain science, a certain degree, and you think there's value out there in getting those things. That's fine, achieving that. Just keep in mind that if you don't have the scholarship potential or if you don't have the grant opportunities, schooling can be very costly. I'm not putting these things down. However, keep those things in mind. Now, backing outside the fact of traditional college degrees, could you take just a 2-year degree and be good? Yes, you can today. That's an absolute yes as we roll into 2025, just around the corner. What else is out there? Trade schools? Absolutely. People have taken trade schools while they're in high school. I forget what it's called. It's maybe co-education. That may not be the right word. And if you remember what that phrase is, if I don't, feel free to write in and mention it to me. But you're basically taking, maybe it's co-op. Is that right? You're working during your high school time and also going and working in a business under your field of study as a trade school. You're learning hands-on vital skills. A couple things that come to mind: plumbing, locksmithing, electrician, civil work, construction. There can be things in there for communications like cable. There could be, just a number of things. Most of them are trade skills, meaning that they're hands-on. You're learning a trade. You're learning something physical. But those trade skills, believe it or not, while they're absolutely necessary today, we need people performing the service, doing the service with a smile and being capable, confident, and qualified. There is good news if you don't feel like you're a person that's a hands-on type of person with physical work aspect of things. Those businesses need other people involved in the educational side for their software, their administrative work, finance, okay? You don't always have to bring a hands-on approach to a trade school. You can learn about the trade so that you understand the reason behind it, the name of the tools, the processes used. Maybe you go on an assignment. Maybe you go on as an intern just to try it out, to find out it's something you don't like, being underneath houses, working on plumbing, working on electrical routing, sewer lines, whatever the case may be, right? Everybody's needed to do everything. It just depends on what you feel you're drawn to or what you're pulled to, right? Now, back to these business needs. Anything administrative, process-driven, people that are very organized, very structured, very skilled. Maybe you have a certain discipline or you're known for a certain thing. You know software really well. Maybe you're a great coder. That too can be a trade. It doesn't have to be getting down and dirty, like I mentioned, ditches and underneath houses and such. But there's also other activities that these places perform that you might need help with. Sales, marketing, software, IT, computer skills. The list goes on and on. So how much education is enough? The answer is it depends. It depends on you, what you're trying to achieve, how much money, how much time you have. And let's talk about one other thing. It can be Let me find my words. It can be incremental. Your education does not all have to happen now, no matter where you are in your walk of life. It can be over time, small baby steps, right? One thing I use as an example when I'm teaching about project management or working on a big task or something that's incredibly challenging and you just can't see past that mountain, it's a big hurdle. Think of something else that's huge. It's an animal. It's an elephant. If you were to eat an elephant, I don't know why you would, but if you were to eat an elephant, we use the old technique, the old adage, one bite at a time, right? Eventually, you pick it apart one by one until you've completed your activity, your task, your mission. And that's the same thing with anything that's daunting. If you're just getting out of high school, oh man, 2 more years of college, 4 years of college, hey, that's true. But somehow you made it to this far in your life, right? That's just a small portion of it. And it's going to give your upper education, your higher education. If you truly don't want to go to school and you're capable of doing other things in your life, you're interested in other things, maybe it's a hobby that you're really good at that you could turn into a trade and turn into a business, hey, all the more power to you. I'm not here to judge. I am only here to help you see the pros, the cons about education, and also give you inspiration and guidance to offer my 30 plus years of career knowledge and, if you will, wisdom. I say that with a smile. I think wisdom just is another way of saying, yes, you do have some smarts codes, Craig, but with those smarts, you also have experience. And that's part of what wisdom is. Not only knowing about things, being educated, but being experienced. And so I know there are places plenty out there that are hiring that you do not have to have a 2-year or 4-year degree. Also, I will tell you this. I heard this from a couple larger businesses recently. They happen to be in Central Florida, but I would challenge you to find others that are not like this, meaning I think many worldwide are like this. You may not have the knowledge, you may not have the trade skills, for example, but you show an interest, you show a genuine curiosity, and this is the key, you're driven. You have a passion to achieve, to overcome, to be successful. People, companies have said this to me time and time again. We need the attitude, we need the behavior, and we will train the skills. So there are SMEs out there. There are subject matter experts out there. Think of it like a mom and pop business where we just have a small family run business, and maybe it's locksmithing, maybe it's being electricians, pick another trade skill, okay? And there's many others out there, just those that have popped into my head. They are passionate about what they do. Maybe it was a business that grew up in the family, and that's all they did, all they know, and all they learned, and they're really great at it. But as they become older, maybe they're not as flexible, as nimble anymore. They're looking for people to help them part-time, maybe someone to take over the active duties of the shop while they work on the back end, the administrative, the software, the time cards and record keeping and finance. That could be you. So these are cool things. They will train you with the skills they have. Now, like I said earlier, that wisdom, you are going to learn the training aspect of it, which is phenomenal. You are learning from master electricians, master locksmiths, means years and years of experience. Knowledge equals wisdom. You'll get their experience by them teaching you and training you. You will slowly grow your own wisdom, even at a young age, but you will not have as much as they do. So keep in mind about talking about how much education is enough. This one-on-one training, make sure you stay humble. You have humility about yourself, because you might think you're really great at that one task, that one opportunity, that one function they taught you, and you may be. But that's only when everything lines up perfectly in an ideal shape, ideal world, ideal conditions. Maybe you're doing something what I call on the bench. You're in the shop on the workbench going through that testing, that troubleshooting, that piping assembly, that lock reassembly, whatever your task is. Maybe you're taught to wire an outlet or a switch as one of your first duties. In a perfect world with all the supplies, with an air-conditioned shop, with proper lighting, proper safety equipment, all that at your hands, it goes perfectly. Now, they don't have to teach you all the ways things can go wrong. I don't want you to be daunted by this or overwhelmed by this, but I do ask that you give me the courtesy, just a few more moments, to talk more about that humility and watching pride come in. If you truly want to master career growth and you want to succeed as quickly as possible, humility plays a critical role, because you can have ideal shop conditions, like I mentioned, for whatever trade we're discussing in your head, in my head, and that's when things work out perfectly. Nice weather, nice ambient temperature, things are controlled, proper lighting, proper tools, everything's at hand. And it's probably at a good working level, right? You're sitting in a chair, you're standing over a bench, proper posture. That's kind of crazy, Coach Craig. What's wrong with you? Hey, nothing. But as you gain knowledge and experience, aka wisdom, you'll realize you may have to do this job, this task, this duty out in the blazing sun, during a rainstorm, underneath a building in cramped conditions, cramped up against a corner in a really small room, because that's how the original, equipment was supplied, and you have to work with what's there. You don't have the access or ability to tear down walls and push, 1,000-pound bookshelves and file cabinets and server cabinets out of the way. You have to work with your constraints. So that's where the how much education is enough. We've talked about schooling enough when it comes to trade schools, colleges, and so forth, but now it comes down to your one-on-one education. How willing are you to learn? How willing are you to be humble? Watch that pride to come out and try to keep it at bay and learn from those that have subject matter expertise skills, that have that wisdom. So I've kind of talked about all things here, formal education to one-on-one education, from entrepreneurs, mom and pop entrepreneurial shops, all the way up to larger companies. By the way, today in 2024, we're rolling into 2025, right around the corner. There are so many places out there that you can get free training, free education. And one of them is, let me make sure I quote this correctly. It's something that's called MOOC, MOOC. massive open online courses, and the website is edx.org. ED like education and then X, edx.org. I think Harvard and a bunch of other well-known colleges and universities have gotten together to put free, and yes, I'm saying this correctly, free content out on their website. Not everything is free. Some is reduced cost, and some things you do have to pay for. But you don't get the formal education being in the classroom and taking the tests and getting the degree, but you get similar education as if you had gone through that. You just don't take the formal tests that I'm understanding of, and you certainly don't get the degree. But getting that education can absolutely drive you at edx.org into saying, I'm really great with finance. I'm really great with numbers or spreadsheets, or I learned this about electronics the other day. Rather than being an electrician, I might want to work in engineering. I'll set my focus on that, work part-time, go to school part-time. It can give you great ways to open up your mind, open up your career to see what educational path you might like to take. And then there's one other place that I'll direct you to. It's a website that I've been using for years. I'm very, very pleased. There's a very small cost. These are used books. These are previously read books, and it's called thriftbooks.com. Thriftbooks, plural.com. They buy used books. They rank them based on their wear and tear. Do some pages have dog ears, bent over on them because people used them as a placeholder? How much writing is in the book? Are they highlighted? Does it have any underlining? Maybe some pages are burned or damaged from a cigarette or a candle. Maybe somebody spilled coffee or a drink on the book, but it's still, worthwhile. It's still legible. They rank their books to let you know the wear and tear levels. I have not gotten one book from them that I have been disappointed. I knew the condition of the book ahead of time, and when it came, it was that condition or better. They usually rank them on the positive side, meaning that, yes, this book will withstand our grading scale. And so the point about all this, it is really great to go to this website, thriftbooks.com, and get books that you and I need to read, softcover, hardcover, that we would normally pay through the nose for, that you get them at a fraction of the price. There, of course, is shipping. They even have a program that you sign up, and after so many books, they ship you a book or two for free, like as a bonus. You get point system. So think about that. edx.org in closing, and thriftbooks, plural.com, thriftbooks.com. Thank you so much for listening to the Career Growth Made Easy show. I'm your host, career coach Craig Ansell. We are closing. How much education is enough? That's up to you to decide, but I hope I've opened up your eyes and ears to different thoughts about your career, your educational field, and the frequency and duration with which you can apply future education to your life to grow your job and into your career field. If we've earned your 5-star review, we'd be honored to have it on whatever podcast player you listen to. And if you ever have comments about a show, please know your comments are reviewed. We take everything seriously, and we like to look for constructive feedback so that we can make our shows better and maybe put some content together for you in the future. If you ever want to reach out on social media, at Craig Ansell, as well as my website, craigansell.com. That's CRAIGANCEL. If you need daily inspiration or would like something different than a podcast forum, try out TikTok. It's Career Coach Craig. 3 uploads a day to help you stay inspired, give you different tips and techniques from your resume to cover letters to interviewing. I'm there for you to help you succeed with your career growth journey. God bless. Happy New Year as we approach. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel. New episodes every Monday. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on social media, at Craig Ansell on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To book a coaching appointment, download our free guides, or join our email list, check out the links in the description below.